Okay, guys, what's up? Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Also, take the donation challenge via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Share these videos if you get a chance. And let's get into it. You guys know there was a mass shooting the other day at a school, or a school shooting, whatever you want to call it. And it was all over Twitter, and the mainstream media was covering it. They had their people on the scene, CNN, MSNBC, because they thought it was going to be, you know, a story that they could run with. And you know what I mean by a story that they can run with. If the perp is a glacier glider, it had all the feel of it. Because as Americans, we've been told that school shootings are a glacier glider thing in America, when 95% of school shootings are done by son teens. And it makes sense if you look at it. The violence in those schools, it would make sense that 95% of the school shootings happened in predominantly son teen schools in democratically run cities. However, though, this was Texas. It had all the feel of a Columbine type situation, a Parkland type situation. But unfortunately, it wasn't, and it got dropped by the mainstream media. So I'm going to continue to cover this since I know they've dropped it. They instantly dropped it when it was revealed that this was the shooter. Timothy Simpkins. Golds in his mouth, earring in his ear. Came up to the school and shot it up. So let's see what the people got to say. Alan Jerkin says, grieves me to read this, not only for the victims, but for this young man. Look at that photo. He's just a baby. Now, mind you, this kid's 18 years old. A lot of this is similar to what I saw when I went to the zoo a couple weeks ago. You guys know I took my daughter to a rinky-dink upstate New York zoo a couple weeks ago, and it was a decent place, man. It wasn't like the zoo, Woodley Park Zoo in DC. It wasn't like that. It was like it was like 1/100th of that. But hey, those people running the business out there, an operation, the animals looked healthy. It was all good. But as I was there, I noticed a dynamic that reminded me of the dynamic that Pasty Liberals have with Sun people. It's kind of like that's what they do. I mean, what do you expect? Like, they can't help it. That type of dynamic. And that's what they mean. That's kind of what this guy means. He's just a baby. I mean, like, he's 18. If this was a glacier glider kid that had done this, 18-year-old that had done this guy would be on there excoriating him. Talking about how tying it into white men and Nazis and all types of tropes. And, they're trying to, this is a boldened by all this other stuff. A son man, 18 years old, we'll call him a son teen, 18 years old, goes to a school and shoots it up. And this guy talks about he feels bad for him. The majority of this comment is about the shooter. This guy says, I was bullied as a kid. All people are bullied at one point or another in their life. I had access to a gun. My parents taught me never to use a gun like this. I would never have taken a gun to the classroom. How do they know this kid was bullied? This kid had a car. He had a gun. This kid has gold teeth in his mouth. He has a diamond in his ear. I'm willing to bet that this kid was the bully, being from the stand, unlike these people. This blue check says, hopefully nobody died, and this kid has a chance of living a life after this. Sad. They're all talking about the kid who shot up the school. The kid who got in a fight, shot up the school and fled in the car. They're all talking about him. These people are sick. Then you have this one. He's just a baby. My heart goes out to his parents and the school. These kids need guidance, not a jail cell. Help these kids. My heart breaks for everyone. This is why our community, these are the people that run our community. These pasty liberals run the Sun community. They completely run the Sun community. They're the thought leaders in the Sun community. If you want to be Ibrahim Kendi or the next Ta-Nehisi Coates, you have to get stamped by these people. You can't come up through the ranks of the Sun community and become that big, that well known, that prestigious as a leader in Sun people thought. You have to get stamped by these pasty liberals. Listen to this. He's just a baby. That kid's probably shot a bunch of people. I bet they're going to find out this kid's been shooting people all over town. I know that because I'm from the stand. And I know how this works. These people don't have a clue. Your first shooting ain't coming back to the school and blazing up the school. That's not your first shooting in the stand. Maybe in the Glacier Glider community, the kid, and in the Sun community, the bullies do the shooting. The kids getting bullied rarely shoot. Because bullying is different in Blackistan. In Blackistan, man, you get serious bullying, man. Okay? We're not talking about that mean girl stuff. We talking about getting all your extensions pulled out, your being bald spots, having alopecia after a fight. We talking about getting your brains kicked in. You're curb stomped. And then everybody just watch you lay there and just leave, and maybe somebody who's seen it will call the cops and ambulance and come help you, but you just laying there looking stupid. That's bullying. We ain't talking about somebody you went to the lunch table and everybody got up and left. Nah. The bullies in the stand are the shooters. The kids that get bullied, they may one day become shooters, but they'll quickly become bullies. And they all talking about bullies. Why do they keep talking about bullies? Because the kid was in a fight. These people, and it's just shocking that these are the people that have all these people have more say so in this community than I do. I say something, some people don't want to hear it. These people say something, some people is all ears. And this girl says, he's 18. This whole shooting started because of a fight he was in over weed. He killed many people, and you're worried about him being a baby. So many schools had to go into lockdown and had to fear for their safety, including my school. Please get a grip on reality. So this one, she probably dates Sunmen. She know the deal. Hood Sunmen. This one right here, she dates Harvard activists. She dates activists. She dates BLM activists, and she dates thugs. And this one comes in and says, what he did was horrible, but he didn't kill anyone. He injured people. The sheriff said he will be charged with assault with a deadly weapon, not murder. So he only injured people. Thanks. The bar is hella low. And this is the thing you got to understand. When the bar's this low, it's not a... I wish some people knew when they were getting played. Like, look how low the bar is for you. These are not your friends, man. They don't expect much of you. So then she comes back and says, until you have gone out in your community, seeking to help the youth and encourage them of their worth, how to go to college that isn't free, then show them that as a society no one is racist, then come at me. I believe innocent until proven guilty. These are the same people who lock their doors when you're walking into Target. Like, you're going to Target, and they see you and they start locking their doors in the parking lot. These are the same people that heart goes pitter-patter when they encounter you and there's no cop in sight. These are the same people that tell you you don't need police in your community while they live nowhere near your community. And of course, we have the obligatory Dylan Roof tweet. At least they didn't go Kyle Rittenhouse. It wasn't that type. It's either, depending on the nature of the shooting, it's either Dylan Roof tweets or Kyle Rittenhouse tweets all over this cesspool of Twitter. This guy says, this child deserves to survive his arrest. I mean, how do you know that? He's got a gun and he's on the run. Like, that's presumptuous, man, at the least. This child deserves to survive his arrest and be treated the same as Dylan Roof, if not better, on God. He is a child. Yes, I understand he's 18, and I reiterate, he's a child. Son, man, you're always a child. I say this too. We're the kids of the world. Some people are the kids of the world, so I say this too. So I mean, I really can't like knock these people. I say the same thing. We are the kids of the world, and everyone knows it. This guy says that's crazy because when white people shoot up schools, their information never gets released that quickly. Wow, man. They don't even have the character to be like, look, I don't know what I'm talking about. No comment. They just literally say the most untrue things, and there's no pushback ever. Number one and two people only attack the person's race, usually when it's racially motivated. Well, this guy says, a brother committed a white crime. 95% of school shooters, the shootings that are done in schools, 95% of the time, it's a son team. Just because you hear of everyone that a glacier glider kid does doesn't mean anything. They dropped this as soon as they found out it was a son team. They didn't even give updates. Like they broke all their shows, canceled all their shows, and just was doing coverage of this. Found out it was a Sun team, dropped it, didn't even come back and say, well, about that story that we were doing wall-to-wall coverage of earlier today, that we interrupted all your regularly scheduled programming for hours earlier today. Well, here's an update on that. They didn't even do that. They just dropped it. And about this Burger King thing, I want to address this for you guys. Because here we attempt to, just be in the know. Just be real here. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you donate via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. But let's learn about this Burger King incident, because they keep saying Dylann Roof was taking the Burger King after he massacred those people in South Carolina AME Church. He was rewarded with a trip to Burger King by the police. Let's get into that. Explanation for the Burger King detail in the story involving Dylann Roof could stem from laws pertaining to the rights of a prisoner in custody. A post-arrest rights violation checklist published on fine law details circumstances under which an individual could later claim their rights were violated, one of which is withholding of food. Okay? So, thanks to your legal system here in America, criminals have a lot of rights. So Dylann Roof could have said that his confession was coerced by them withholding food from him, because he kept talking about food. A criminal suspect is entitled to humane treatment no matter how heinous the alleged crime. If you were not treated humanely, for instance, if you were deprived of food and water, or if you were beaten either during police questioning or while in a holding cell, your rights have been violated. The website of a criminal lawyer practicing in South Carolina addressed conditions under which a confession or other information gathered during the questioning of a suspect could later be deemed inadmissible due to possible coercion, which also included a scenario in which food was denied. So what the police officers there done, and it's a lot more to the story, but basically they didn't want any scenario where his confession could be thrown out or be deemed admissible if he got when he got his lawyer. So they went to the Burger King drive-thru, got him a burger, and went to the station. Simple as that. Because holding cells, like just a holding cell. He wasn't going to like a big city jail. He was just going to a holding cell and then he was going to a room to be interrogated. And if he went in that room and talked like he did, all of that could have been thrown out by a good lawyer saying, well, he asked for food and you didn't give him any food. So these cops down there really were trying to nail him by giving him food. But the truth is not as exciting as the lie.
News of the Texas school shooting. A suspect now in custody after leading police on a manhunt this afternoon.
4 people were injured during the shooting, including a pregnant teacher. It happened at a high school in Arlington, Texas, a suburb of Dallas-Fort Worth. CBS News' Jessica Moore has been following the developments from the newsroom. She joins us live with the very latest. Jessica.
Well, Mary and Maurice, investigators just confirmed the alleged gunman, 18-year-old student Timothy George Simpkins, turned himself into police with his attorney around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, 2 of the 4 victims are still hospitalized, including 1 student who is critical and a teacher who is also recovering from a gunshot wound.
Timothy Simpkins is in custody. He will be charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 3 counts.
Police in Texas announce a swift end to the massive manhunt for the student who opened fire inside a crowded classroom at Timberview High School and then fled the scene as terrified parents waited anxiously outside.
I mean, we're scared. We're scared. We just want to go in and get our kid.
And this will not diminish her wokeness one bit. These people will still be woke after this. They'll still be woke. That's the crazy part about it. There's nothing, like, wokeness is kind of like a disease. Like, these people will still be woke. This ain't going to change nothing. They still want to vote for policies that endanger their kids, endanger their family. They're not going to change anything.
Go in and get our kid.
Video from around 9:30 Central Time this morning shows police storming the building as lines of fire trucks and ambulances filled the parking lot. Police say a pregnant teacher fell during the chaos but did not need medical attention. The other 3 victims, 1 student and 2 adults, were taken to a nearby hospital. All are expected to survive.
This is not a random act of violence. This is not somebody attacking our schools. This is a student. We believe right now, preliminary, that it was a student that got into a fight and drew a weapon.
Police say the alleged shooter, 18-year-old Timothy George Simpkins, pulled a gun from his backpack during an argument and started firing inside a classroom.
Has there been a shooting that we've seen recently where one of these guys hasn't shot someone else? It's the darndest thing. They never only hit the person that they intended on hitting. They always shoot someone else. And it's a lot of shootings, Jack. We're not talking about a small amount of shootings. We're talking about a lot of shootings. They always hit another person. At least one. And these are babies, children. They need guidance. They don't need prisons. They need free stuff. But if they're in an argument with somebody or have an issue with somebody, they always shoot that person. No, sometimes they don't even shoot that person, but they always shoot someone who had nothing to do with it. Think about that.
Students and teachers nearby began barricading themselves inside and calling their parents.
So of course I panicked. I left work, and so I just came here to kind of see. I was in disbelief at first, so now it's real to me. So I just want to make sure my kid is okay.
You know it's a difference between this woman, this mother, and the glacier hombrito earlier in the video. Never any tears. I mean, for all at this point, they thought it was like some guy that had come through and massacred a bunch of kids. At this point, no one knew. This was the point when CNN and MSNBC were still covering it. There was no idea who the shooter was. Nothing. Just somebody came and massacred a bunch of kids. You know how rumors start and scuttlebutt starts circulating? And not a tear. Just as calm as she could be. Now, some of that could be attributed to the fact that she lives in the stand. And this type of stuff happens regularly, routinely, all the time. And then the other part could be like, yo, sisters, I don't know what's wrong with y'all tear ducts, but Jesus, man. Like, is it defective tear ducts? Is it like tear ductitis? I don't know what's going on.
I mean, we're scared. We're scared. We just want to go in and get our kid.
So of course I panicked. I left work, and so I just came here to kind of see. I was in disbelief at first, so now it's real to me. So I just want to make sure my kid is okay.
Investigators Investigators say Simpkins took advantage of the chaos and fled the scene in a car. Police in Grand Prairie found the .45 caliber handgun believed to have been used in the shooting on a deserted road. Soon after, Simpkins turned himself into police, but the investigation is far from over.
Our agents won't sleep, working with our partners here to figure out how he got this weapon in his hand to come into school and cause this tragedy.
Simpkins is expected to be arraigned tonight, and again, all the victims are expected to fully recover, at least physically. Counselors are on scene to help the students and teachers cope. Live in the newsroom, Jessica Moore, CBS 2 News.
Jessica.